Ah! Did I get you? Did I? No? Dang it. Oh well, at least I tried. Anyways, hey guys, what's happening? It's Richard here in black and white once again, welcoming you to another installment of Horror Month on Channel 23, ha ha ha. And if you're not familiar with what the hell that is, Horror Month is a limited series of videos I'm doing right here on my YouTube channel, in which I'm reviewing films all across the timeline in the horror genre. And so far, I've talked about Nosferatu, I talked about Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein a little bit, and today I am going into the 50s and 60s era of horror films. And by the way, just a real quick reminder, do not mind the band-aid on my forehead. I picked scabs and it was bleeding a little bit, and yeah, I didn't want you to see a big gray line over my head, because that would have been nasty. But anyway, so for this era of horror, I had two films that were kind of battling each other over who was going to be the film I would talk about. And those two films were Night of the Living Dead and Psycho, because these are two films that came out within that era, and these are two films that are heavily influential to the horror genre, specifically two aspects of the horror genre, you know, the slasher genre and the zombie genre. And at the end of the day, I'm not a big zombie fan, and I'm a lot more familiar with the slasher genre and Psycho than I am with Night of the Living Dead and the zombie genre. And so I decided for this video, sticking to black and white movies, I'm going to be reviewing Psycho. Fun movie. So, for those of you who've never seen Psycho, or I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the film, you know, Norman Bates, Bates Motel. I mean, they have the whole Bates Motel show and whatnot. But for those of you who are not familiar with the actual movie Psycho, it's essentially about this girl, this woman, who's kind of on the run. I don't really remember why she's on the run, but I know she's on the run. And she ends up at this motel called the Bates Motel that's run by this fellow named Norman Bates and his mother, who we never really see in the film because she's always kind of secluded in a way inside of her house. And so and it's this really creepy, like, gothic house on top of a hill, so that's always fun. You know, that's always safe. And some strange and very iconic moments happen in this hotel, which leads to this woman's death. And so her friends are trying to find her, and they, you know, hire the cops to go try and find her. And this basically opens up a can of worms and exposes a secret about the Bates Motel, specifically the owners of the Bates Motel, that is pretty shocking, pretty awesome, pretty awe-inspiring, and yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. And just so you know, I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, because even though I thought this film, especially with a lot of the, you know, plot aspects, I thought was very much like a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, like it was one of those, you know, I guess I'll just say it, twists that people knew about, like, you know, like again, like the Empire Strikes Back, like, Luke, I am your father. But I guess that's not the case, because the last time I watched this movie, I had to watch it for my editing class at school, so we can make a trailer for it or something like that, because that was our assignment. And this whole little small section of girls that was in the class had never seen the movie, but always wanted to, just never got the chance to do it. And so they finally got the chance. And one of the kids spoiled the entire movie for these girls, and they got, like, really upset, and, like, everyone's like, dude, what the hell? Don't spoil the movie. Like, I'm personally, like, I don't like it when people spoil things, but I didn't think at first it was a big deal, like, in my split second, because it's like I thought everybody knew, but then when I saw they didn't know, I was like, what the hell? Dude, don't spoil the movie. So, yeah, because of that recent wake-up call, I'm gonna avoid spoilers. Even if you guys already know everything about Psycho, I really don't care. I'm just not going to spoil it. So yeah, Psycho. Psycho is basically known as that film. It's known as, like, probably the most influential, most fantastic, if you will, Alfred Hitchcock film. But it's also known for being so heavily influential to the slasher genre. Now, it's not the first slasher film ever made, but it's definitely, like, the most inspirational slasher film ever made, I would say. And I think society might even say that as well. Though, then again, who cares what society says? But I think that's what they would say. And you can definitely see why, though, when you watch the film. I mean, personally, while there's aspects about the movie that I really love, like I think the cinematography, you know, even the black and white, the editing especially, I love the freaking editing in this film. Especially the shower scene, the iconic shower scene, you know, the very quick cuts, and, you know, like the very, like, on your edge, like, you're like, holy crap, like the tension crazy, just, oh man, and just the way it ends, and like the focus on the eyeball and the kind of panning out, just, that is incredible. Like, that is probably one of the best edited scenes ever, period. And like, me as an editor, I like to try to, you know, kind of do that as an editor as well. And like those are the kind of movies that inspire me to edit better, if that even is a proper sentence. I really don't care about that. That's the kind of scene that inspires me to edit better on a lot of my stuff. But anyways, so that's the kind of stuff that I find excellent about this film, and I even like the plot and the twist and the characters and all that stuff. All that being said, this film is dated like hell. Even there's aspects of this movie that's ahead of its time, but there are some other aspects that are very much of its time. For one thing, like a lot of the information in the film, especially like the explanation for why Norman Bates the way he is, and why his mother is the way she is very dated and almost like, really? It's kind of like watching like space movies from before we really started to explore space, and like seeing the way they kind of crafted outer space and like all that stuff. Like, even though like watching 2001: A Space Odyssey, like I watched that movie, and like it's pretty damn impressive how accurate a lot of the information they got. Like it's pretty damn accurate how accurate the information is in that movie. But you can definitely tell it was made before we even did like space exploration. So like for Psycho, like a lot of the elements you can tell are like, you know, dated because they're not necessarily like facts that perfectly explain, you know, more psychological elements, I guess you could say. I'm honestly hearing myself talk during that whole thing, and I'm like, what the hell did I just say? Oh, I love these one-take videos. I really hope I get to edit sometime soon. Anyways, yeah, the movie I think is definitely dated. For one thing, I think it's also really cheesy. I mean, it's not just the information in the film that's dated, it's just the fact that the film seems really cheesy nowadays, because, I mean, you watch movies nowadays, and even some of the worst films, like with their dialogue and whatnot, feel natural. You know, whereas that movie, like, almost nothing really feels natural, save for like a few performances. Like, everyone feels like they're reading dialogue, and a lot of the lines they say just feel very like, what person actually says that? And even like, okay, like the whole scene when Norman is being visited by that like private eye or whatever, that's looking for the blonde woman, which is basically every woman in an Alfred Hitchcock movie. Like, and then Norman starts stuttering because he can't think of a way to explain what happened, because, you know, he knows what happened, but he can't say because, you know, she's kind of dead, and he might have had a play in it a little bit. And so, like, he's just going, and yeah, it seems pretty cartoonish, but other than that, I mean, I think the film's fantastic, and I can definitely see the influences, and just like the technical aspects of the film is what really wows me, especially nowadays watching it. But a lot of the material is very dated. But I still think it's a great film in the horror genre, and again, very influential to the slasher genre. And, you know, it's excellent. I think it's a great movie. So, yeah, there's Psycho. It's dated, but I like it. I guess the question for this episode in the comment section below: who is your favorite horror film maker? Like, who's your favorite horror director, I guess? Are you a Wes Craven fan, John Carpenter, George Romero, Alfred Hitchcock? Who's your favorite? Tell me in the comments, because I want to know. For me, I don't really have a particular favorite, because I think a lot of horror directors are very hit and miss with their careers. I mean, I think they're more memorable for that, like, one, like, awesome, or that, like, or those two awesome horror films that they did, and then, like, the rest of their films are, like, either just good or just bad. And then there's, like, that one film that's like, yeah! So I don't really have a particular favorite, but I do have favorite films done by certain, you know, directors that are known for their horror movies. So yeah, that's the question this week. Comment section below. Tell this face. because this face wants to know. And these Transformers... No, I'm not wearing my Transformer shirt. These Marvel villains want to know. I think we got Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Magneto, and Doctor Doom. It's not a very Halloween-oriented shirt, but they're all villains, so I guess that works. Anyway, so that's about it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed this one take of craziness. As usual, don't forget to like this video. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, directorscutradio.com, Tumblr, and Vine if you can. And also follow Carter on the Marvel Cinematic Universe channel. Links are all down below. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like what you see, and favorite the video because I like it when you do that. And stay tuned for, I believe, Friday, because on Friday, you're not going to be seeing me, but you're going to see my friend, the real Manos, Justin Cristelli, throwing in his hat into the Horror Month Review-a-thon when he reviews Suspiria. And then on Sunday, you're going to be seeing me again reviewing a film from the 80s era. So if you have a film you want me to talk about from the 80s era, tell me in the comment section below. Also, stay tuned for Halloween, because Justin and I are planning on doing a live episode. Now, it's not confirmed yet because I still haven't gotten the go-ahead from him, because he doesn't know like what his work hours or anything, but I know I don't work on Halloween. So on Thursday, Halloween, we're going to try to do a live episode for you guys, so if you're excited about that, you know, show up. And that'll be the end of Horror Month when that happens. Then I'll just get back to your regularly scheduled programming and even some new programming. Hey, new stuff, brand new stuff. Can't wait for it. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.